Hi guys, welcome back to Handmade with Tara. If you're new here, my name is Tara. I am a stay-at-home mom to 3 beautiful boys and a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! So today for you I have my advanced series, and for the advanced series I'm going to do Coffee with Friends. So I'm going to show you this set here. I made a couple of cards with it. You can find this in the annual catalog for May 2023 to April 2024, and it is on page 105. So right here, it shows the different sentiments that are in here. You've got this, thinking of you, let's get together soon, and coffee too. Coffee with a friend is like happiness in a cup, and sometimes you just have to reheat your coffee and one more time and try again. So this set is $25 for this stamp set, and it is a cling stamp set. So I am going to be showing you a couple of fun projects to do with this set. So I immediately loved this set because it made me think of my girlfriends and getting together for coffee once a week. And I just, it's something that I always try to work into my schedule. So this set I instantly loved, and I know that you will too once you see it. I also briefly want to talk about the new mini catalog that's coming up and the new celebration that's coming up. So I can only show you the cover of this catalog. This is the brand new one that starts in January, that has all of the spring all the way to Easter time frame. So it has Valentine's Day, it has Easter, it has a couple of different birthday stuff, sets, and then lots of fun new paper, designer series paper. And then also starting in January, we're going to have Celebration coming up. So Celebration is a huge sale that Stampin' Up! Does, where every time you spend $50, you get free products. So with every $50 to $100, like you're going to get a free product. So I'll talk about more of that on my next tutorial as well. So that's coming up in January to look forward to. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into this tutorial. You are going to see some sneak peeks of some of the new stuff in the mini catalog. So let's see if you can figure out what is a sneak peek for new things coming up, okay? So here is going to be the first card that I'm going to make here. And this is a really fun fold where it opens up like this. All right, so that's fun fold, and it locks together, and this one actually can stand up, so you can stand it up on your desk or whatever. There is some fussy cutting. Obviously, this set did not come with dies, so we are going to do some fussy cutting. Here is card number 2. So, and this one opens this way. All right, and card number 3 is here. Also fun fold, and once you open it here, it's pretty easy to break it down. You're gonna really love this tutorial. I just know it. All right, so some kind of lively spring is around the corner cards, okay? And this is, if you remember, my tutorial that I was supposed to do at the end of last month, and the month got away from me, and then my children got sick, and so now you're gonna get it today. So we're gonna go ahead and start with card number 1, which is that super fun fold. I write down all the measurements for you here, and I'm gonna go through them as I go through. So, and I like to use these cases. They're just like the Stampin' Up! Stamps cases. And I order them, and they come in a set of 5. Anything that you see that I'm using, you can find on my website, which is right here. And also, if you have any questions about anything that you see, you can send me an email to taragolem.stampinup.net. And then there's a way that you can just send a message to me. It'll come right to me. So I can answer any of your questions, or if you'd like a catalog or one of the new catalogs, I just ordered those, so those will be in soon. And then, so let me just break this down for you. So this is the 5 1/4 by 4. So that's what I did first. I cut this first, and then this piece here. So this is a couple of scrap pieces. But this piece here is just the normal card. So it is 4 1/4 by 11. So 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 1 1/2, 2 3/4. All right. And then I did the exact same. So I flipped it over and I did 1 1/2, 2 3/4 again on this side. All right. And this is Misty Moonlight, I believe is the color that I used. And then for the other piece, so this piece is going to end up going in here like this and opening like this. So this is basic white and it's 8 by 5 1/4 and scored at 4. So, and we're going to emboss one side of this using the embossed bricked 3D embossing folder. So that's the first step that I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And if you're not making it along with me, you can just cut ahead. But if you're making it along with me, I'm just going to make it with you. So you can cut your paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and emboss this part. So I just kind of put in half of it like that so that 1/2 will be embossed. And then I will be right back with that. All right, so now that that's embossed, I can put this away and I can move to the next step, which is, so I'm gonna stamp the inside of this one. I did Coffee with a Friend is Happiness in a Cup. So Coffee with a Friend is Happiness in a Cup, and I used Misty Moonlight. So I'll go ahead and stamp that. Coffee in a cup is like happiness. Coffee with a friend is like happiness in a cup. Very true. Clean that off with my Simply Chamois. I'm just going to set that aside. And then I also did the coffee cups here. Where are they? They're there. With crumb cake color. So crumb cake. And I just did a real easy little imprint there of some coffee mugs, which are super fun. So now this part of it is completely done. And I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the back of this one. I just do like a thin line of glue all the way around, just like that. Not too much. It sticks and adheres really well. So, and I like the glue because you can wiggle it around a little bit till you get it centered on there. But you want to be able to close this. So even though this is going to go down in here like this, everything should fit nicely in here, like so. All right, so that's done. So now the front part here, so what I did was to make it easy for myself, I used the Shops paper. So the Shops paper, and then I just picked one with like a complete picture, and then I cut it first. So, and I'm gonna double check the measurement. I'm gonna double check it. So yes, this is 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the strips. So, and that's down here, designer series paper. So I'm gonna do, all right, so it's cut by 4 already, and then I'm just gonna do the 1/8 by 1 1/8 by 4 and the 1 3/8 by 4, and I'm gonna need 2 of each. So I'm gonna do, when I'm cutting, I'm gonna do this 1 1/8 first, and then 1 3/8, so that they're lined up, and then 1 3/8 and 1 1/8. So you'll see. All right, here, I'll bring my cutter in so I can show you. See if I can fit that on there. So, and I'm looking at the measurements here. So I'm going to do 1 1/8 is my first measurement. And I'm going to hold this down, 1 1/8. And then I'm going to do 1 3/8. So 1 and 1 2 3/8, like that. And then I'm going to do 1 3/8. So 1 and I'm double checking every time. And then the last piece that I should be left with should be 1 1/8. So 1 and 1/8. So, and it does look like I'm going to have a little bit that I don't need here. And so it's just a tiny little piece. So, but it was much easier to do it like that than to try to do all of the measurements like one by one and line it up with the picture. So hopefully this is what I needed. Hopefully it will line up perfectly, just like that, so that when I open it, it will look beautiful. All right, so I love a fun fold card, but no matter how many pictures you take of a fun fold card, it just doesn't really do it any justice until you see it in person. So these are fun to show how to build them, but much more fun to receive in person. And I love these really fun designs on the shops papers. I thought it was perfect for this Coffee with a Friend stamp set. I was like, oh, I immediately knew that I would be using this paper, and I looked through all the paper and I was like, ooh, which one do I want to use? And that's just part of the creative process, right? So it just makes it more fun when you kind of have an idea of something that you can use with a set. But sometimes you can just pick, a fun floral paper or like a gingham paper. I'm sorry, I got glue on my fingers and they're sticking together. All right. So I'm trying to get the glue all the way on the edge here. I'm running out of glue, but it's definitely going further than my seal and easier to maneuver. Definitely recommend glue for this project, just because you want to be able to like wiggle these pieces around until you get them just right. So look, we still have our scene and that looks beautiful. And then now I'm just going to use let's see. Okay, so I have a piece here that's perfect for this. Okay, so this is my 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 3. So, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in the crumb cake. And I have another block that fits this better, but I'm using it for something else right now. So we get the Gigantor block. All right. I'm just tapping lightly, which is making that funny noise. And then I'm just gonna do this right in the middle, like that. And then firm press to the middle. Don't wobble, just firm press. Beautiful print. And I'm also going to use a little bit of scrap. So I'm going to end up coloring that in a little bit. And then I'm going to use the Radiating Stitches dies. And I'm going to use this circle die here. And I'm just going to cut out a little piece from this scrap white. And I actually might get a bigger scrap white. I have another piece of scrap. So I am really good about trying to remember to use my scraps, because then if you use the scraps, then you don't have so many, right? I have a million scraps now. Let me go ahead and cut this. And while I'm thinking about it, if you like these videos and you want to see more, definitely like and subscribe to my channel so that you will be notified when I have tutorials that are released, and you'll be in the loop. All right, so this is what I have right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this one with Let's Get Together Soon. So I'm going to grab Let's Get Together Soon, and I'm going to straighten that out a little bit better so that it goes on better. And I'm going to use Misty Moonlight again to stamp the sentiment, because I just love this blue. I love this color. It's so pretty. Hopefully I have good coverage on that. It looks like I do. So, and then I'm just going to stamp this right in the middle like that. Try not to press too firm because we don't want to get any outside ring, but I press nice and firm and get that beautiful print. All right. So now I'm going to do a little fussy cutting. So I'm going to grab my snips, and I'm just going to go around the bench and around the girls here. So, because we want to make it look like they're sitting across from the shops, okay? Across from les shops. And so I'm not the best fussy cutter. I do my best here to get around all these objects. And I never overthink it. Any card that I make, I know that it is well received. Like, I know that there is someone who will appreciate it. So I don't ever worry. I just hope and know somebody's gonna love it. All right, so easy enough to just go around it, and then of course you can get in there and do more if you want to, but I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think it needs to be crazy perfect, but, and then also, so this color here, I'm gonna just use a little bit of Pool Party to do behind the ladies here. So I'm going to use my Pool Party and just kind of fill in this little bit of white space here and here and here. So it definitely shows those buildings shining through. And then I also did in between the slots on the bench here where the ladies are not sitting. So I'm actually going to use the other tip so I can get a more fine. Just like so. And I did over here too. And now that I'm using this, I'm thinking I probably used a darker blue. But I don't think it was that. I believe it was Azure Afternoon. Let me see if Azure is in here. When I have all blue, that might be better. Maybe not. Oh, I found dark Azure Afternoon. Light. I think color. Let me check that. We'll see. Oh, that's a little dark. All right. We're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna finish what we started here. Maybe it was balmy blue or balmy blue. This is azure. Azure afternoon's pretty dark. So I've been doing other projects. If you follow me on Facebook, then you know that I just had a calendar workshop. And so I'm using all my stamps for that still. So that doesn't look terrible. Still a little dark for my liking. But we're gonna go with it. I'm not gonna worry about it too much because it's a handmade card, and all handmade cards are special and unique, right? I'm gonna do a little bit more fussy cutting in here and here. So we can see more of that background once I build the card. Okay, so that's that. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on one side, because when it opens, it's going to go to one side like this. So, and I want the glue to go almost all the way over to the side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. So I'm going to just put glue on the one friend here. And then I'm gonna push it all the way over to the side, like this. And then just hold that firmly until it's sticking nicely. And you definitely want it all the way towards the bottom of the card, because we're gonna put the sentiment on this side at the top, so then when they go together, they will connect nicely together. So for this one, I kind of set it up like that to see and get an idea, and then I'm going to put glue just on this side of the sentiment here. So, and then I'm just going to lay it flat so that I can get it on there, and then I'm going to pick that up out of the way so that I don't accidentally glue that one down, making sure that the glue isn't everywhere. So a little tiny bit of glue, you can always add more, but once you over glob it, that's no fun. And you got glue everywhere. So last but not least, I'm gonna add a little bit of bling. I just added it to the sentiment here. So I'm gonna do the same. So beautiful. I did one large, one medium, one small. Little gems, just like that. Super, super. It seems like it's gonna be hard because it's got this fun fold, but then when you actually sit down and try to do it, it's not It's not hard at all. So just slow down, make sure that you get the right color, because obviously I used the wrong color. I think that I need to look at the paper and see what color this is. So it's either balmy blue or, I don't think it's boho blue, but it might be boho blue. But this Azure Afternoon is a little dark, so I don't know if I like that. But so that is card number 1, and that is done. So, and it's my original with the right blue. So, and I did it so that it kind of is like a deck of cards where you have to like zigzag it in there. Look at that. So that is card number 1 done. And now we're going to move on to card number 2. That's this card. So let me get you some new measurements. So card number 2 is this one. And these measurements, super simple, not a fun fold, but a fun designed card here. Super easy to do, and that middle part, we're just going to do a little bit of coloring. And then I did do a fun insert here using that same radiating stitches dies. So I'm going to use this big one to do the middle, the insert, and we're just going to set that one aside. So, and I did use some bling on this one, so I'm just going to set that aside. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my radiating stitch die, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, so I always say this, but I'm going to say it again. I can't bring my embossing machine is big and clunky, and it would be hard to get it in the picture without having to move the camera up and down. So I don't ever do my, my embossing on the camera, but okay. So, and then I'm going to stamp this before I put it inside. So I did this one, that sometimes you just need to reheat your coffee one more time and try again. So when I do the tutorials, I try to use all the different stamps in the set if I can, just to show what they all look like, what they can do. I'm really into, and I think that I'm not alone on this, I'm really into the different types of font together. So sometimes you just need to reheat your coffee one more time, and then the second part is try again in a different font, and I really like the way that looks. I don't know what it is, but, and this is Calypso Coral. This just matches the card base. So, and you don't have to use this Calypso Coral color if you don't want to on the inside, or on the outside either. If you'd rather use black or blue, that's fine. So I'm going to, again, I'm going to use the glue just because it'll make it easier for me to wiggle wobble this piece into place. And this was just a regular basic insert, which is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I used the radiating stitches dies to cut that, make that beautiful outline. And then I'm just using glue so that I can wiggle it around until it looks centered-ish. Okay, so the insert is done. And then I'm going to grab my bone folder because this is not laying down flat like I wanted to. And I'm just gonna use my bone folder, push that flat. And okay, so now that is done. So now really easy. Okay, so this is the card base was 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so that's this piece. So, and then on the front, so on the insert, again, this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then on the front, we're going to do, so this white piece here is 3 inches by 1 3/4. And that one's going to be the centerpiece. And then these are some new DSP you might recognize if you have access to the new catalog. If not, this is going to be part of the celebration next month. Beautiful floral design here. And these are cut 1 inch by 4 1/8 times 2 pieces. And this is 1 inch by 2 7/8 times 2 pieces. Okay, so that's what you need here. And we always stamp before we attach. So we don't want to do it the other way around, because if we mess up, it's already attached. Now we have to start the entire project over. So I'm just going to use Memento Black because I am going to end up coloring this in. So that's kind of loud. I don't really like the way that sounds. I wish this was more, I'm just kind of like tapping very, very light, but I want to make sure it has good coverage. That's kind of annoying. Sorry. I'm going to put a little piece of scrap under this because I know it's going to go off the side. And we're going to just stamp it as best that you can all the way to one side. We do leave a little bit of room for the sentiment in the top right corner. All right, just like that. I'm going to clean this off with my chamois, my Simply chamois, and then I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to use, I actually think I'm going to use a different stamp for this one. So originally I used Thinking of You, but I think I kind of want to use You've Got This. You've Got This. Just seems like it might fit better with the inside sentiment, which is the reheating the coffee one. So I'm going to put that on my block, and then I'm actually going to use a little bit of Memento, get good coverage on that. You've got this. Just a sweet little sentiment. You've got this. I just thought it went a little bit better with the inside sentiment, but you don't have to use that one. You can use Thinking of You if you prefer that one. I'm just giving you ideas of what can be done with this set, and there are some really nice easy sentiments that you can use. And then to color this in, I used a little bit of, I used Night of Navy for her blue jeans. And I love using the blends. I think that they're just, they paint on so nice. So I just enjoy using them, and very rarely grab my markers unless I'm doing an event and I need more colors to share among people. But most of the time I just use, when it's just me, I love my blends. And then I also did her flip-flops in this navy color because I was trying to make them look like slippers, because it's the winter time. Obviously we're not wearing flip-flops outside right now, but I was like, maybe she just like walked outside with her slippers on. I don't know. That's what I was thinking when I was coloring her. And then I used the light Daffodil Delight for her shirt. And so for these advanced tutorials, I do them for my team. My team and I, we have a club, and each month there is a host of the month for the club, and that person gets to pick the stamp set that we're going to be using, that I'm going to do a tutorial with. And there's also some other really fun perks that come along with being host of the month. And then I think I did some of this pretty daffodil in her hair. And then I added some brown too. But if you want more information on joining my team, definitely go to my website here and then just look for the Join Now link. My team and I, we have a chat, so we're constantly sharing fun ideas or projects that we're working on, especially at Christmas time. I love to see what my team comes up with. At the holiday time, I had a couple of advent calendars this year. We had somebody who made cards for all of our work colleagues. I had to make a bunch of work colleagues for my husband. I was very happy to do that. And then this is just one of the skin tone colors. It's SU 800. And this is just a very neutral skin tone. Color here. So I'm gonna use the paintbrush side for her legs. All right, so just like that. And then a little bit of the pecan pie. This is dark pecan pie. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of highlights in her hair. I don't know, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I should just make it brown. All right. And then last but not least, I made a dark Lost Lagoon coffee mug. Just like that. And so when I attach this, you definitely want to, you can use glue again, because you can move it around if you need to. Just a little tiny bit of glue. And then you want to try to leave a border around the outside, and then there's borders between each of the pieces. So the best that you can, I just kind of start with one and eyeball it, and then I work my way around. And I do the middle piece last. So, and then I'm just eyeballing to make sure that it's where it should be. And I really love this paper. I've already used it a couple of times since I got it. That's always a key indicator that I really like the paper. If I buy it, but I'm also just like grabbing it out to use immediately. I don't wait to use some things, and then other things like this set I love, and I was so excited to get it, but I got it right before Christmas time, so I haven't really got to play with it that much because I've been making Christmas cards. And just like that. And if I did it correct, then this piece should easily fit in here. Yay. Perfect. All right. So that looks nice. She looks nice. And that is the inside, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and add some bling, and then this card will be done. So I'm going to use some of these champagne rhinestones. They are one of my favorite. These and the other ones that I used on the first card are super neutral and easily you can use on so many different cards. So I use them often. So that is card number 2, and that is done. So you've got this. Sometimes you just have to reheat your coffee and try one more time. And one more time and try again. If I could read. All right, card number 2 is done. Now we're going to jump right into card number 3, and we will be done. So let me go ahead and move these measurements out of the way here. And I'm going to grab the last measurements here for you. And I'm going to grab all of this stuff for this last card. All right, so this is what it looks like again. So I know you love me so much. I did a little bit of fussy cutting again. But it just, I don't know. I like the way it looks. So there's no dies on this one, so I have to do what I have to do, right? All right. So I did cut some ribbon. That's not on here. So that's all the scraps. I went ahead and I did the die cutting on this one because this is the last one that I did here. And okay, so let's start off with the base. So this base is 5.5 by 11 and scored at 1 3/4. And then I flipped it and then I scored it again at 5 1/2 and 9 3/4. So I scored it and then I flipped it and then score, and then I fold everything together and it's going to end up looking like this. So, and then I use my bone folder to really push down those sides, really push down those things. And then just be careful that when you do that, you don't do it on the other side. That you don't, I don't know if you can see that. I just kind of made this nice little fun little indent there when I did that. So, and then the designer series paper that you need are all 5 1/4. So I cut and it's directional paper, so make sure you pay attention to directional paper. But they're 5 1/4, 5 1/4, 5 1/4, and then I did my side cuts. So I did, this is the 1 inch piece, this is the 1 1/2 piece, and then this is the 3 1/2 piece. So, and these are going to end up going on the front here. And what I did was I flipped one of them because the designer series paper has this beautiful side. It has 2 beautiful sides. Again, this designer series paper is part of the new catalog that's coming up in the new Celebration catalog that's coming out in January. That's going to be released in January. So look out for that. So it's going to end up coming together like this. So I'm going to go ahead and first of all, I'm going to grab the insert here, and the insert, I'm going to stamp this with "and coffee too." So, "and coffee too." And I do believe I used Lost Lagoon, so let me make sure I have it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I used the Memento. So I'm going to use Memento. And I'm just going to stamp this "and coffee too" right in the middle. Just like that. So that is all I did for the insert. Super simple. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside of my card here. So of course I'm going to run out of glue. Of course I'm going to run out of glue. I'm right at the end. That's always my favorite thing. So insert done. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these front pieces too. And I'll show you a real easy trick for measuring the right amount of ribbon so that you don't have to sit there and worry about how long it is or if it's going to be too short for a bow, because I did do a bow on this one. So, and it is directional, so just making sure that the birds are facing the same way as my sentiment here. I have a tickle in my throat, and I finished my water, so I need more water. It's so hard to cover up this pretty paper. I love this Lost Lagoon color. It is one of my all-time favorite colors. This beautiful, beautiful color. And so it is very hard for me to cover it up. I do not like to work over top of it. So, but I have to on this one. So after that's down like that, I'm going to flip this back and I'm going to put this and show off a little bit of this Lost Lagoon. And that's how I get my glue to come out, guys. I just like tap it a little bit on my surface. Try not to push the glue too hard because then it makes huge globs and that's no fun for anybody. And since you're still here with me, you understand. Look how pretty. I just love this new paper. I'm obsessed. Okay, it's so cute. Okay, so let me show you how I measure this. So obviously I just used some scrap white and I cut out some of these tailor-made tags. So let's see. Tailor-made tags, all right? And then I used this, not the smallest one, but the next smallest one in order to cut this tag, all right? So that's that. And then I used another piece of scrap white to stamp and fussy cut out the coffee and the bread. And I used crumb cake on that because I just thought that that made sense. But let me show you how I measure my ribbon. So what I do is I hold it on the card where I want it. And I hold it down with my thumb. And then I wrap it around until it comes completely around twice. So just like that, and for whatever reason, it ends up being exactly the length that I need. Perfect every single time. But before I tie that, I want to stamp this. And so because I didn't use Thinking of You on the last card, I'm going to use it on this one. So I could either do Let's Get Together Soon or Thinking of You. And since I already did Let's Get Together, I'm going to use this one. This way I would have used every single stamp in the set, which makes me happy. So you can stamp it with Lost Lagoon or any of the colors that coordinate with this with this paper. I'm sorry. But I'm going to use Memento because I have it sitting right here. And what I did was I kind of made it at an angle because once it gets tied on, it's going to be at an angle. So I just put Thinking of You at an angle here. And then cleaned off my stamp here with my chamois. Put this aside. And then I'm going to attach this first. So I already measured out my ribbon. Now I'm going to tie it. I tie it once. just like this, and then slide it where I want it. And then before I tie it again, I'm gonna add the tag on. So these are awesome tags, the tailor-made tags, because they have a nice big opening here, perfect for ribbon. And this ribbon is the Lost Lagoon ribbon that matches the paper from the designer series paper perfectly, which I love. And this ribbon is super easy to work with. So it is super easy, and it's grippy so that when I'm pulling it, it's not pulling away from me. And then look, I actually have a little bit extra, and I like that for these types of cards because then I can make the bow a little bit bigger. I can make the bow a little bit smaller to my preference, and then I can trim the edges. The last thing that I did, so I'm gonna trim those edges, but I added a little dimensional. So, and I haven't used a lot of dimensionals in this tutorial, which is rare. Usually I use a million of them, right? But I use one. Almost in the entire thing. I don't think I use them on any of them. Wow. Okay, so that's unique. And then I just kind of place this so that the words in the in this corner right here that's created by the coffee cup and the croissant are right at that, the way the words are moving here. So look at that. Thinking of you. That looks super cute. And then I'm just going to trim up this bow. So I have a nice big bow, but some beautiful trimming there. All right, so then I have my bow and my card is done. So I did not use any bling on this one, but you could absolutely add some bling, but it's super beautiful, and I think that any friend would be super happy to receive this. So, and then I didn't even talk about it when I was doing it, or maybe I did. Okay, so that was that 5 1/4, and then 3 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 inch pieces. And then the insert was just a normal insert, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and then I used a scrap white for the tag and the coffee. So I try to use a couple of the same things. As far as the dies go that I used and the techniques that I use. I mean, it's definitely a fun class here with some fun folds and some fun designs, and that your girlfriends would totally love. I know I would. I would love to receive a card like this from my friend, and I know that when I do send these out, I already have in mind girlfriends that will just love them. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel and follow me for the next tutorial, which is going to come sooner rather than later because I have another one to finish by the end of this month. And that one is going to be on the Furry Friends, the Furriest Friends, which is an online exclusive. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.